right, we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I believe we're live. Let's see. We're live. Hello, everyone on Facebook. Welcome to High Speed Healing Wednesdays. Hello, all my wonderful members in the Zoom room. I'm just so delighted to see familiar faces coming back week after week. For those of you that are brand new, welcome to the High Speed Healing Wednesdays. I am Debora Wayne. I'm the founder and the CEO of the International Chronic Pain Institute. And I am here to help with all things pain. And that is just my greatest passion, is to show people how to get pain-free without drugs and lotions and potions and PT and giving up the foods you love. And today on our call, we're going to talk about how to create stability in our lives, in our body, mind, emotions, in our life, and stay sane even when everything around us is constantly changing. So, welcome if you're new, and welcome back if you've been here for week after week. And if you're live on Facebook and you don't know about this, register. I'll put the link below. Register for these Wednesday calls so that I'll send you the email reminders each week, and you'll have the link to log in into the Zoom room. And then you'll be able to chat with me sometimes. You'll be able to ask your questions and post them in the chat. So everybody go to internationalcpi.com/high-speed-healing-Wednesdays, plural. Oops, I think I just put it in the wrong place. Hang on. All right, so I want to talk today about, obviously we're all going through so much and it's changing moment by moment, right? And unless you have not been paying attention, everything's changing. And when there's, change is good, change is great, change is fun, change is healthy. But when there's so much change all the time, and often from day to day, we don't know what's happening, what's coming. We can't plan very well. Maybe we can't plan at all. That's when people become very unstable and wobbly, and it brings up a lot of uncomfortable feelings and the types and the thoughts that can really make us spiral downward instead of embracing change and working with it and flowing with it. And so I really wanted to share today some very practical, down-to-earth tips and tools that you can start to use in your life to create stability and calm and sanity and even serenity. Because I'm here, as a personal testimony to the fact that many years ago, I was just a nutcase every day, up and down, and oh my God, and we weren't even experiencing the times we are right now. But in my life, I just couldn't control things. And I tried again and again and again to control everything and everyone. And when change would occur, when people wouldn't do what I wanted, when institutions and governments and family and work wouldn't go the way I wanted, I was just on an emotional roller coaster ride. And I was very unhappy, and it made me very stressed out. And because of that, I took drugs, I drank too much, I ate too much, and I was very angry. I was afraid, and I didn't know it. And I just walked around with stress bucket all the time. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to live like that. Even if it is extraordinary amounts of change, that's like we're experiencing now, I have learned that there really is a way to become the eye of the storm. I like the example of the lighthouse at the coastline. And when the lighthouse stays firm at the shore, with the lights on, the boats know how to come home to shore. But if the guy in the lighthouse runs out into the middle of the ocean and starts freaking out because there's a storm and all the boats are whipping about, nobody would come into shore. They wouldn't know where it was. So see, you're somebody's lighthouse. You might be a lot of people's lighthouse, and you may not recognize that. And so our work is to learn to be the calm center. Now, that doesn't mean you aren't going to have feelings and emotions, and it doesn't mean you have to like anything that's going on. Don't misunderstand. You don't have to like a darn thing. In fact, you can make greater impact, greater change externally when you're calm on the inside and you're grounded and stable. And then you come from a better place to make better choices. So the first thing I wanted to mention is that think about your body, think about the physical body. Now, some of you maybe go to yoga or exercise. Anybody here? I know some of you. Anybody here go to yoga or do stretching or gymnastics or dance? Anybody in the Zoom doing that now? Yep, Lori, yoga. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody ever, try to work out and be flexible and be gain stability? Or any of you ever noticed that your body became less stable over time and you maybe needed some strength training? Anybody ever experienced that? See, the physical body is no different than our lives. If you're super, super, super strong, think muscle builder, Iron Man. If you're super strong and you're not flexible at all, you're just a rigid mass of tense muscle. And that isn't necessarily very good. If you're a Gumby and you're just so flexible, but you have no strength, no muscle, you're not very stable at all. You're just going to fall apart at the least little thing, the least little exertion. So that isn't healthy either. So either extreme, super strong and completely muscle bound, or super Gumby, flexible, bendy, neither one is ideal. In the middle is a balance of stability, strength, and flexibility. Flexibility. And we need both of those aspects, not only in our body, but in our lives. And so part of the reason I was in so much pain, and a lot of the people that I work with are in so much pain, is that they're rigid and bound that XYZ must happen for me to be happy, or he must change, or she must do this, or that has to happen, or I have to have that amount of money. They get rigid and bound up with too much tension. And then you see other people, and I've worked with them too. They say to me, I just don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what I'm doing here. I feel like an alien. I don't know. I can't make any decisions. I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is the right path or that, or I should stop this or do that. Like, I just don't know. And they don't make choices. Those are the Gumbies. See, the Gumbies get swayed like a piece of driftwood, and they feel purposeless many times, or invisible, or questioning their existence. And so either way is not healthy. It requires structure to feel comfortable and stable and grounded. Think about this. Somebody said this to me years ago. I forget who it was, but they said, imagine if every day you woke up, but you never knew if the sun was still going to be in the sky. And you didn't know at night if the moon would be there. You didn't know if it would be light or dark, or you just didn't know. So you couldn't count on that. What if you couldn't count on anything? You would be in a heap of fear all the time, right? You would not be comfortable at all if you never had any structure and sameness. I work with a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too, where people say, I'm just so bored. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. I'm locked up at home. See, and we live in an age of distraction, right? With a lot of information, a lot of distraction coming in through all these different channels 24/7. So many people have never learned how to be fully present and they're very dependent on rushing around and being distracted, which is not the same as structure. And they get comfortable, or they think they're comfortable, by rushing around, being busy, staying super busy, to avoid the feelings underneath of uncomfortable, of discomfort that come up when we're more steady and stable. And so you have to take a good, honest look at this in your own life and mind and heart. Are you used to rushing around and you like a lot of change and distraction because you're really uncomfortable when you're by yourself or alone, or you can't go anywhere, or you have, limitations put on you? Does that make you uncomfortable? And if so, how? And or have you somewhere along the line learned to be able to be quiet, to have alone time, to be calm and have some structure to your day, where it's okay if you can't rush around and be busy, if you have less to do and more to be? Anybody here heard that saying? Anybody here in Zoom? Human doing versus human being. See, we've gotten lost in the human doing part. We're good at the human doing. And we need activity. Everything in nature is a mixture of activity and rest. Activity and rest. We need both. Now, one of the key tips I want to give you in order to feel more stable, no matter what's happening around you, is structure. Again, we're not talking about rigid, I got to do everything this exact way every day. Get out of my way. There's a book called You Moved My Cheese. Maybe some of you have heard of that. I'm talking about a routine, yes. Because as I mentioned a moment ago, the stars in the sky, the moon in the sky, the sun in the sky, we need a repeatable structure. It can be somewhat flexible, but something that we have as a container for our day. And I recommend a routine in the morning in particular, because it sets the tone for the rest of the day. Now, we talked last week about self-care and how the importance of self-care, especially those of you givers and teachers and doers and moms and caretakers. And if you don't have a structure for you, for your day, it can easily start to get out of control, and you get knocked off, and you're just all day being tossed around like the boats at sea, because this person needs something and that person's calling and this person's texting and they want you. And so you've got to start from the scratch, from the beginning of your day, with a structure that is for you and you alone, your self-care, right, Kathy? Yes. And look, there are going to be times when it's not going to work. That's why I'm saying you can't be rigidly attached to it. You've got to loosely be attached to it, but understand the importance of it so that you schedule it. You actually have a calendar, maybe, right? This is what changed my life, was scheduling my day, not overscheduling, but scheduling my day. And my personal routine, my stability, my structure is first thing in the day. And wow, do I notice a difference when that is not happening, or when I give that up for some reason. And I've learned again and again not to give it up. What I will try my best to do is shorten it. If there's some kind of emergency or something that absolutely has to take some of that time away, then I'll shorten my me time, but I don't give it up fully. And so I want to suggest, number one, that you literally sit down with a pen and paper and you structure your day the best you can with your self-care time in the morning, some type of routine. And, I shared mine last week, but yours might be completely different. What makes you feel calm may be different. I'm going to share some more things today with you, but what works for me may not work for you. So don't necessarily compare my routine to yours. Find yours. Find what really makes you tick, makes you calmer, makes you happier, makes you more joyful, and gets that stress off. I recommend a little acronym that I want to remember that really works for me, and I want to share it with you. And it is HALT. HALT. What do I mean? Never, ever, ever, if you want to remain stable and sane and serene, never, ever, ever, even in good times, even when, you're having everything's going your way and you're not limited in quarantine, never get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. HALT, HALT, it stands for hungry, angry, lonely, tired. If you have, some people are more sensitive than others. I am highly sensitive to those four things. You don't want to be around me if I'm super hungry and I've gone too long without eating. My blood sugar will cause my mood and my reactions. I've gotten better at this, but I don't like to push that. You wouldn't like me very much for very long. Um, Angry. You don't want to be around me or anybody else who's feeling super angry. It is not a pretty, happy, loving vibration. Now, I'm around it with my clients all the time, but I help them learn how to dissolve that. And I don't live in anger the way I used to years ago. Thank God. It's just a horribly uncomfortable, ugly place to be. And it can become ugly in our behavior if you stay there too long. And then, so, we all need tools for this. That's where my pain-free living program, my high-speed healing, all of these tools are so important so that you can learn to release the anger, because it's normal to feel angry, especially with what's happening on our planet. And in fact, I'm not a person who feels anger is bad. I don't think anger is bad. It's appropriate for many things. And yours may come up for different reasons than mine. But and please understand that feeling angry is different than putting your fist through someone's face. That's a behavior. The behavior is different than the feeling. And I repeat this a lot if you've been on my calls before, because some people are afraid of feeling angry because they were abused by someone who was very angry and they were around rage and abuse. And anger is not necessarily, doesn't turn into rage and abuse. Feeling angry is a feeling, an emotion, and emotions are energy in motion. And the problems come when you don't know how to release the anger appropriately, and you either inappropriately release it and take it out on other people, or you stuff it, deny it, suppress it, and repress it, and it goes internal, and then it comes out sideways as symptoms, or this is often how it comes out in very harmful ways because it got stuffed for too long and then it exploded on others. So we'll do an entire call on anger one week because I could just, teach on this for hours. So don't get too hungry, angry, lonely. Right now, people are very, very lonely more than ever before, especially those who maybe are living alone or haven't seen their family in a long time. They're not traveling. They're not able to go to the groups they're used to. This is a tricky, tricky road to navigate. And we're all learning how to deal with this. And so there are new ways we must learn so that we don't feel lonely all the time. Now, I am a natural introvert. I'm an outgoing introvert. So I like being around people. I love my time with other people, but I'm also very comfortable alone, quiet, with a lot of alone time, very comfortable there. And I have been for many years. Not everyone's like that. And so those of you who here's an extrovert and knows that you're highly social, maybe you used to go out every night and you were around people every day, um, those people are having the toughest time. Some of the introverts have emailed me and said, God, now they're leaving me alone, and I can just do my art or do what I do, read a book and not feel like guilty, like I'm supposed to be somewhere. But how many of you experience a real decline in your social life? It's Kathy saying she's just like me. Chances are a lot of the people in my community are more introverted. Lots of times people who are interested in energy healing and who have suffered in pain become more isolated, which don't confuse that with introverted. Um, Isolation is what happens when people are in pain or are sick for long periods of time or have chronic conditions or feel depressed and lonely for too long. People tend to pull back from life and isolate. People who have been abused, neglected, if you've been in accidents, been injured, you may have pulled back from life because you couldn't do what you used to do. And so you spend or have spent more alone time than normal. But see, the thing is, you may not be an introvert. Introverts process information internally. If you're an introvert and you have a problem, the first thing you'll do is go internal and listen inside. Extroverts pick up that phone and they're talking to everybody about it. They externally recharge. But an extrovert will feel more energized when they're around other people, whereas an introvert might feel drained if they're around other people too much or too long. Can you relate to this, you guys? Give me some hearts and some thumbs up. Give me some chats. Okay. Who else? There's a lot of people on the call, but a lot of you are not talking to me today. Why aren't you talking to me? Are you feeling introverted? So yeah, extroverts they get energized by being around other people, and they're having a tough time right now if they're, because of the quarantine. So we have to find new ways to connect and communicate, because connection and communication are two of the very biggest things to learn to do if you want to feel stable and keep your sanity. We need connection, we need communication, we need community. And this idea that we're all islands unto ourselves and trying to be self-sufficient and independent, it is not working. It's part of why we're living with such problems on our planet, because we've lost the knowing of how intricately interconnected we all are. We live in a community that's not just the people, it's with the planet. We commune with our planet. We commune with the stars, the universe, the cosmos, and all of infinite planets and universes that exist. And if that's a little too airy-fairy, sorry, it's the truth. We live in a universe amongst infinite universes. We're all interconnected with all of that. And so we can't forget that this whole thing, oh no, I got this, I'll handle it alone. That's how we got into such a mess in many ways. When we forget that if we dump our trash into the ocean, that's going to affect the sea life, our food chain, the people on the other side of that ocean. Where is it going? It's not just going to disappear into nothingness. If I'm hurtful to others through unkind acts and words and even thoughts, these are forces as real as electricity. They go somewhere. Everything is energy. And so how are you connecting? How are you communicating? How are you finding the union with life, all forms of life? And how are you doing that? So for many people, they had never knew what Zoom was until all of this happened. Now, I've been working on Zoom for the past 6 years, so it didn't cause me any change. other than being on it a little bit more. But you see, for a lot of people, anybody here, was it new to you? A lot of people never went back to the office. They had to figure all of this out. And I will tell you that I sort of revolted in the beginning. I didn't want to be with my friends on Zoom. I wanted to be with them in person. And I was angry and I had a reaction. Not very proud of it, but I had it. And it took me about a month before I recognized, well, you're either going to not connect with anyone and only, work, or you're going to get used to Zoom for yoga classes, which are vital to my health and my sanity, and my friends and connecting in other groups that I'm in. So before you knew it, there I was, more Zoom. And you know what? Then I recognized the value and I started to feel grateful for it because I missed live real-time yoga. And some of my teachers started offering that in real time, not just recordings. And I was yearning for that connection, even if we're not in the same room. So if you haven't tried that yet, I highly recommend you start experimenting with new ways to get together. I have girlfriends who get together for happy hour and people who get together for, they share a meal together over Zoom. And my family, I've actually been quite surprised. My family has been excited to get together on the weekends over Zoom. We have never done that before. We didn't FaceTime. We either went to visit in, another state, or we just picked up the phone. But we're now looking forward to our family Zoom calls. And so, we pivot, we adjust, we become resilient, we become flexible. And it's change, but it can be a lot of fun. Now, you might find, like I have, I started looking for some different ways to connect on Zoom, and I discovered a lot of groups that are out there that I didn't know about once I started searching. And I have made new friends from around the world that I would never have made had I not gotten on Zoom and joined some new types of groups. So, and attended events as well. So I highly recommend that you try it out. You might be shocked at the friends you'll make very easily now by attending certain groups online that you never did before. So have some fun with it. Try it out. The cool thing about Zoom is if you don't like it, you just hit end call and you're gone. You're not in a space where people will see you walking out. So it's the risk factor has gone way down. You can turn your video off, you can turn your sound off. I mean, there's really no excuse for not investigating what is out there that you might be missing out on. And it doesn't just have to be with your old friends. So connect, communicate, commune, and feel the love that's really there. In fact, I think people are expressing love more openly now than ever before. More gratitude when people show up on these live Zooms. People are so grateful that they're not the only one there. So you're helping others by doing it as well. Now, here's a big one that's really, really important if you want to stay stable and keep your sanity and feel more serene and stay strong. Because we know that mental health, keeping our mental health strong, is affecting our physical health. And those of you who have been in pain or are still suffering from some type of pain, you see your mental health is adding to the pain or helping you stay out of pain. The mind is totally connected to the physical body. The body takes its direction from, here's the key, the self-talk. So the self-talk is, I want you to write that down. It's one of the key ingredients for staying serene, for staying sane, and staying stable. Self-talk, I mean, think about it. We're thinking all day long. Even in our dreams at night, we're thinking. So we're thinking 24/7. You're not doing anything else other than breathing 24/7. And unless you meditate or do high-speed healing and can get into a state where you're mind is shut off for a period of time, you're never not thinking. Think about that. It's powerful. The studies have shown on average 60,000 to 90,000 thoughts per day. Whew, it's a lot of thoughts. And the real kicker is that most people are thinking about 10 thoughts that they recycle and repeat 60 to 90,000 times a day. Oh my God. So if those 10 thoughts are not really positive, high vibrational, healthy thoughts, your body is taking the direction from your thoughts. Your emotional state takes its direction from the thoughts. The thoughts are key, my friends. Your self-talk is your thought. That's what's happening in there. You live in here. It doesn't matter where you go on the planet Earth. It doesn't even matter if you're able to travel every day of the month. If this in here is thinking on a low vibration, you'll do more harm to your health and your life and your relationships and your career and your finances than anything else. It won't matter where you live or who you're with or what your job is if this isn't healed. So are you with me? Is anybody with me here? Following me? Tracking this? Give me some hearts here. I need some love. So the self-talk it really should be at the top of the list, along with that self-care routine, maybe even higher, because self-talk is part of self-care. And if we don't clean up our thinking, then we are not going to clean up any other area of our life. It just isn't going to happen. Your thoughts are creative in nature because everything is vibration, everything's energy. Thoughts are energetic information. That's all they are. So I'm going to ask you right now to take out your pen and paper and write down the top 3 things that you know you've thought about today more than once. What's a thought that's gone through your mind or that you know repeats? Excuse me. Need some water here. What, excuse me. What is 1, 2, 3 thoughts that you know you have on a regular basis that you've had today that you've repeated at least 3 times? I want you to start to become aware. Type them in the chat for me. I'd like you to start on Facebook. I'd like you to become aware, because with awareness, you can change something. If you're not aware you're doing it, you can't change it. It's just going to happen, but you're doing it unconsciously. So I want you to become a conscious creator along with me. That's how you will take your power back, feel stronger, and really literally rewire your brain. Now, for those of you who want to go deeper on that, there's a couple options that I can offer you, because I teach a module in my pain-free living program that's all about finding and releasing your beliefs, finding those ideas that are damaging to you, that are imprinting in your energy field. And some of them probably aren't even your own thoughts. You picked them up from people, places, and things, the news and all the stuff. You're picking this stuff up and you're claiming it, though, as your own. And then you're repeating it and repeating it and rinsing and repeating it. And this is the root of so much pain, suffering, and patterns that are harmful in your body, mind, and spirit. So we have to clean that up. So I offer in my pain-free living program, in the e-course or in the live group, we work on this all the time. And there's a module, it's actually week number 2 of the pain-free living program. And so if you really want to go deeper with this type of information and learn the skill much more, in a deeper way, so that you can do it on your own without me, and you could just do it in real time when you find yourself thinking poorly, negatively, beating yourself up, being self-critical, harming yourself with your thoughts, punishing yourself with your thoughts. God, I used to do that. I used to always just beat myself up. I was so hard on myself all the time. So you don't have to live that way. And if you want to go deeper with that, go to internationalcpi.com/PFLP. That's the Pain Free Living Program. And um, you can register for the e-course version, which is you do it at your own pace, alone at home. Or if you want support with it, join the live group and you'll get support with that. Also, if you become a member of the HighSpeed Healing Universe, that's the brand new membership program. I'm going to be helping people. I'm not teaching what I teach in the Pain Free Living program, but I will be helping people more often in there. It's an opportunity to work with me from time to time, and I'll be helping people get unstuck with the thinking, because I do take more Q&A in there and work with people live. So you'll probably also get much more help around this whole idea of how are my ideas causing harm to my body, my life, my wallet, my waistline, my relationships. I'll be helping people there, and I'll be teaching at a deeper level in there as well, as we have longer time together. And I'm also doing the HighSpeed healing. And that's one of the ways, it's probably the fastest way that people become aware of their thinking. All of a sudden, typically two things happen with HighSpeed healing. One, overnight, many people just feel different and they stop the negative thinking. Why? How could that be? Because it was given to them. It's not who they really are. It was conditioned thinking. It's actually a form of hypnosis that you get from life and people and parents and institutions. And you didn't know it. You know, they were doing what they thought might help you, and you bought it, you took it in. And in childhood, you don't know the difference. So you just accept it. But it forms a foundation for the rest of your life until you either become aware of what you're doing and throw it out, or you have something like HighSpeed healing, which literally takes off of your energy field the imprints that are harming you. And it can do it immediately, overnight. And so lots of people say, wow, I just feel so different. I can't believe my reactions are different. Things that used to bother me don't bother me. I'm not dwelling in doubt and fear and note the low self-esteem. Just like, where did that go? It was a different vibration that was not serving you. And we changed your vibration, and that stuff cannot hold its form, and it just drops out of your field. And your field is informing your body, your mind, and your emotions. So everything can change really rapidly. Let's see, there's a comments in here. Kathy said, it really works because now I'm aware of the negative talk and the thinking, and I'm able to stop it immediately. Yes, I love hearing that. It really does. And it doesn't take a long time. It doesn't have to take 10 years of talk therapy for this stuff to change. That's what's so great about it. Lori's asking, what if you can't control your thoughts? I'm not asking you to control your thoughts. See, that's the problem. You're trying to control causes more stress, more tension. The whole big C word is part of the reason people feel so unstable, insane, and out of control. That's what happened to me years ago. I was a control freak. Nothing went my way, and I tried harder and harder and harder. And boy, all that will do is destroy a life. It's not about controlling. It's about releasing thoughts that are not serving you, becoming aware of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and learning how to release them. It's not about controlling them. That is what's getting you in trouble, Lori. Great question. All right, now here's something else that is very, very linked to your ability to stay calm, centered, serene, and stable. And it's movement. Movement, I'm talking about physical body movement, is linked to your mood and your mental health and your emotional health. So again, one of the consequences of quarantine and all the changes going on is that people are not moving as much. They're not even just getting up every day and getting dressed and getting ready for work and getting in the car and driving to work and getting out and walk. See, people aren't doing that. You know, they're going from the bedroom to the living room or the office or the kitchen, probably too much to the kitchen. So we're not moving as much. And the gyms are often still closed, the yoga studios are closed. So movement releases physical movement. Our bodies are designed to move all the time. We're not supposed to be sedentary. It's why the rate of so much has increased over the years. Depression, anxiety, physical pain, it's from too much sitting, being sedentary. We're not flushing out toxins, which is what happens when we move. We're not releasing the chemicals, the feel-good chemicals, the pain release chemicals that come from exercise. It's a known fact that our body is a pharmacy. And if we're too sedentary, if we're too angry, if we're too hungry, if we're too lonely, we're releasing chemicals that make us feel bad and worse the longer that goes on. If we're breathing deeply, we're breathing fresh air, we have sunlight, we're moving, we're exercising, we're releasing endorphins that not only make us feel good, they literally are a pain release drug. They are a pain releasing chemical. They cause pain relief, endorphins. They help us sleep better, feel happier. You have to remember, these are literal drugs that our body is able to produce. But if it's given synthetic, fake substitutes, the body forgets. Why does it need to produce it? It doesn't. So it shuts down or slows down or stops producing. So if we're sitting too much, if you're not connecting with other people, that's another way that we release these endorphins and the drugs that make us feel happier and connection. And, if you're alone, if you're not sexually active, if you're not communicating with people, if you're not doing activities you love, you're not getting the feel-good chemicals. And that's why so many people resort to drugs, alcohol, overeating, gambling, porn, you name it. It is a substitute that doesn't work, that actually has negative side effects and becomes addicting because you're trying to substitute for the natural healing that your body knows how to give you when you're giving it the right things, the right mindset, the right emotional release, the right physical movement, the right friendships, the right connection and community, the right stability. Who's with me? And, it's not like we have to do all of this every day. Look, it's a lot, but you have to know what your biggest triggers are, what your biggest needs are, what your biggest gaps are. So everybody, please, thank you for the loves and the clap and the hearts and the hands. Thank you. I want everyone right now to make a circle on a piece of paper. And on that circle, I want you to make a pie and divide that pie up into sections. And in that pie, I want you to write work, family, physical health, mental health, emotions, friends, hobbies, school, finances, romances. Put the sections of your life, what you're normally involved in, and put the sections, put spirituality, religion, creativity, put the things there that even you may not have done before the quarantine. Put all these different areas of your life in that pie. Each one should have a section. And then I want you to look at your pie and put an X, a red X if you've got colored pencils or crayons around, put a red X if you know you're not getting what you need in the areas where you know you're not getting what you need. Like if you're not spending any time with exercise, put an X there. If you're not getting enough, oh, and put self-talk in your pie. It's important. Put self-talk, self-care. I guess you could put just self-care and self-talk. And self-talk really goes under the mental health. I guess it doesn't need to be by itself. And then look at which areas you're strong in and put a big O where you're strong. Put a circle where you're strong. And look at that closely and give a little more attention and energy to the areas where you're perhaps depleted or maybe even void, and those areas that you're not giving enough love to and attention and time and energy to. Because the more balanced we can be, everything in nature, again, there's a balance, a wholeness. It's not just one extreme or the other. So take a look at that. Now, also, one of the keys that will help you stay more aware, and you know it's my favorite, it's meditation. If I had to throw out everything and keep one that would help me stay balanced the most, it would be tough. It would be a tie between meditation and movement. But you can do meditation and breath work and actually get your body movement into your body that way. So I guess if I had to choose, I would choose meditation, because part of my meditation is breath work. And again, those of you who are members already of the HighSpeed Healing Universe, I'm going to be teaching breath work more extensively in there. And if you join, when you join the HighSpeed Healing Universe, guess what you get immediately? This is how strongly I feel about it. I give you my Meditation Made Easy audio course. It's a digital download. It's 2 MP3s. It's a workshop that I recorded, and it teaches you 5 different types of meditation techniques that are geared for different learning styles. So if you're visual, if you're auditory, if you're kinesthetic, if you're a combination, I've given you 5 types of meditations that I teach you and guide you into, so that you can learn to meditate in a way that works for you. Because most people think, oh, I can't meditate. I don't know how. It's not working. It didn't work for me. I must be doing it wrong. No, most likely you had a technique taught to you that was not in your learning style. And so it's not a good fit. So you'll find one that you like here. And as a member of the universe, immediately upon joining, I give you the course that normally sells for $127. And to join the HighSpeed Healing Universe is not even $127. So I'm giving you something worth more than what you're paying to get into become a member. That's how much I believe in it, and I want you to have it. So, and also, as a member, you get one HighSpeed Healing session live with me every month. So there's a million reasons to join, and just come every Wednesday to this call, and then stay and well, it's a different link, but then you stay at 5 o'clock and we go on for another hour and a half. So you could have Wednesday literally be the day that changes everything in your life. That's not too strong of a statement, because sometimes all it takes is one new awareness and literally everything changes in your life. Who doesn't want that? So I'm trying to over deliver here, because I want you to have massive healing changes. So lots of ways to get that. All right. The last thing I want to share before we end our call today. The greatest thing you can also do for yourself to stay very stable and very sane is to have a higher power. Now, again, I'm going to do a whole entire call on this. I weave it into everything, because it needs to be woven into everything. But we all need a power greater than our personality. If it were all on my shoulders, woof, talk about a scary place. If the whole universe that I'm in was just totally about me and on my shoulders, and I don't want to be in that world. Who does? So we have to have a power that we feel connected to that's greater than ourselves. Now, the the you know, we each need to come to our own decision and concept of that power. You might call it God, you might call it higher power, you might call it universe, you might call it um, divine intelligence, you might call it the field, you might call it love, you might call it nature. And you know what? Whatever you call it is fine with me. You just have to know what that power is. Now, for some people, they make another person their higher power, and that can work temporarily. But for the long haul, at some point, that person is going to fail you. And then where do you stand? It may be nature. It may be this group. And you know what? A group of people knows more than you and I do, but individually. So, sometimes a group will work as a higher power for a long time. And maybe not, maybe eventually you will discover a non human form that's a higher power for you. I can promise you, if you seek that, you will find it. And it may take some seeking, but again, I'm going to address a lot more on this subject in all my programs. Every call that I do here, you'll hear me bring it up because it's that important and that necessary for all of us, I feel. And I'm not here to tell you how it should be. It may be different than mine, but the importance of you finding that higher power is, to me, probably the top of the list. And I connect to that through meditation, through HighSpeed healing, through the things I read, the beliefs that I have cleared out, and the experiences I've had that are spiritual experiences. It's not about religion, although that might be your higher power, and that's fine. For me, it's not about any one particular religious belief. And again, I don't have time to go much further with this today, but know how important your higher power is. And what I recommend is you do some journaling and you start to write down, what is your higher power? What does it mean to you? What purpose does it have in your life? And where do you find it? How do you connect to it? How do you communicate with it? Because here's the thing, for me, and for those that I teach, I feel the higher power must be caring about me in a personal way. If it's just an impersonal force like electricity, how do I relate to that? You see, for me, my higher power is both impersonal and very much out there for everybody, a presence, a force for everybody that everyone can tap into, but it responds to me in a personal way. And that's why I can rely on it. I can turn things over to it. I can seek it for guidance. I don't feel separate from it. And I know that I am like this, one with it. And I wasn't always like that. It took some time. But that's where the greatest freedom comes. And that's where you become the center, the eye of the storm. And so my work for me personally is to keep my conscious contact as one with my God, my higher power, because there is no power greater. And then there's nothing to worry about. And to think that that's a permanent state, for me, I'm not there yet, but I know what to do to keep myself there. So it's a daily maintenance, just like you put gas in the car. And I'm going to leave you with that thought. So you've got some homework. Amen. All right, Marilee, I love it. So you've got homework. I want you to do the circle, and really, you're welcome, Kathy. I want you to look at the wheel of your life. Don't ignore it. Don't pretend. Don't deny. Do something about it. Reach out to me for help. there's so many tools in my toolkit. I can barely, get them out fast enough. So if you want to stay and at 5 o'clock, join us, come to internationalcpi.com/HSHU. You can sign up right now and still hop on the 5 o'clock call. I have a special guest today. Oh my God. I love this woman. She's the founder of Face Yoga. Yes, you heard me right. There's a thing called face yoga. It's a method she discovered 15 years ago and developed this. And talk about those of you, any of you who don't want to do Botox, have surgery, take pills and drugs and do, injections of harmful stuff. And you want to feel better about yourself. You want to feel the beauty both inside and out. That's what she teaches. And she's my guest today. And she's going to be sharing with us face yoga, all kinds of interesting things about this. It's really more than just for your face, it's for your whole self confidence and self esteem and inner beauty that helps you tap into it. So, join us as a member and you'll hear her today. I'm going to interview her in 3 minutes. So, I got to go. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here today. And I'll see you very soon. Oh, shoot. I forgot to record this. Well, it's recorded on Facebook, so I'll be okay there. Shoot. Darn it. Okay. Love you guys. Bye for now.